Hello and welcome to this lesson where we are going to talk about while loops, and basically I want to show you the same thing that we did in the previous lesson where I want to print the numbers from 0 to 100, but this time I'm going to use a while loop. So the syntax is like this: while, and here I'm going to put my condition. So let me first create a variable here, because in the for loop we had variables in the loop, but in the while loop we don't have it. So I'm going to say integer I is equal to 0. So we want to start from 0, and I'm going to say while I is less or equal to 100, I'm going to print I. And if we start this program, you see that this is infinite loop, and you never want to do this because it's printing 0 basically without ending, and this is going to crash your program. You don't want to do this. In the while loop, after you say what kind of operation you want to do here, you want to increase the value, because otherwise this I here, it's always going to be 0. So I'm saying print I, and after that I plus plus, which means increase I with 1. And now what is going to happen? I will have the numbers from 0 to 100. Basically it's the same what we did with the for loop in the previous lesson, but now we're doing it with a while loop. We are giving this variable I a value of 0, and we are saying while I is less or equal to 100, I want you to print I and then increase I with 1. So the first time it's going to come, the program is going to come here into the loop. It's going to ask how much is I. It's 0. The first time is 0. Now it's going to print 0. It's going to increment with 1. Now I is 1, and now it's going to get out of the loop, come here again, and going to ask how much is I. This time I is 1. It's less than 100. Then it's coming into the loop. It's going to print 1. After that it's going to increment. It's going to become 2. It's coming here again, and it's asking how much is I. It's 2. It's less than 100. Then it's coming into the body of the loop. It's printing. It's incrementing. It's coming here again, checking, printing, incrementing, coming here again, checking, printing, incrementing, until it comes here. And this number here, I, is bigger than 100, and then it will get out of the loop. So this is what we did here with a while loop. Now there is another kind of loop which is called do while loop, and it's not used very often, but I want to show you how it looks like. And if we want to do the same thing but with do while, we are going to write do and click tap. If you don't remember sometimes the syntax of something, for example for loop, for example, if you want to write for loop, but you don't remember all the things inside of the for loop, you remember the name of the variable, the I++, and all of that. So you just write for, tap, and the body of the loop and everything that you need is going to be created automatically. But I suggest that you first write it letter by letter to understand how it works, and after you can make it by hand, then you can use these shortcuts. So I'm going to create a do while loop. I just typed do and clicked tap twice. So here we want to say what we want to do. So we will have a variable again, int I is equal to 0. So do console write line I while I is less or equal to 100, and we want to increment I here. Basically this is the same thing that we did with the for and with the while loop, but we are doing it with the do while. We are saying do this thing right here, so print on the console I, then increment, while I is less than or equal to 100. So these are do and do while loops. I hope you find it useful. Now let's continue with the next lesson.